Well, no me win.
Anyway, 1 second.
Okay, yeah. Now you go there and then you have to come back, right? Welcome to Conversations on this, the second hour that we're doing with Joe Friendly, the producer here at MNN, who precedes me every weekday on the network. He was laying out the indictment of history's pattern that it's been doing, including 9/11 truth and a whole lot of very interesting critique of the system in place. And we're going to do a second hour now talking about some of the possibilities of people or ideas that might be relevant to getting over the nightmare, as I quoted James Joyce, history is a nightmare from which we're attempting to awaken. What would be the means by which we might possibly awaken from the injustice that is so evident today? And maybe you could take it from there, Joe.
Oh, I wanted you to
and let us know some of the people that are really worthy of being given attention to.
All right, I'll take it from there.
Okay, good.
Hello, America. Greetings again from Joe Friendly. With faith in reason prevailing, that the choice facing humanity we have participation in right now at this moment. We have means of talking to the social media. That is a universe of networking, information flow, participation in democracy. It's going on right now. Here I am facing a camera with a message you were asking off cameras, why am I picking on Amy? The idea of that last hour we did, Harold, I did couch the logic that if I, Joe Friendly, could be the one to change Amy Goodman's mind from believing in the official story to the idea that American people have been fooled by their government, that we are victims of a big lie, that this 9/11 we wake up as a people and realize we have suffered a big lie, that America was led down a path of fascist rule by fear, and that's what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Rule by fear. Sorry, buddy, we got to get all your clothes. Take your clothes off. Get your in the name of fear, we lose our liberty, and that happened. And we're blaming the Arabs for bringing down 9/11, and the wars that we have fought are shameful. We had been talking off camera about Libya. You and I went together to Libya.
Yeah, Muammar Gaddafi was a good guy, I'll tell you.
And we killed that good guy. We killed a lot of good guys. We killed good guys in Chile, in, well, you name the country. In my apartment, I have a poster of so many countries, but in particular right now we're talking about Korea, and in the other program I did mention that we were the bad guys in Korea. We divided the country and the people didn't want to be divided.
Couldn't agree more. And Vietnam.
And we
Don't forget Vietnam.
We occupied. Yeah,
Don't
Vietnam,
forget
we did
Vietnam.
wrong. Good point.
Disgraceful.
Yeah. And we can Cambodia and what's that other one up there? Laos. All kinds of horror stories, but here's my kicker.
Yeah, go ahead.
Here's something new I'm going to go to. Oh boy, come on, Joe. Here we go. I'm reading now from peacefulrevolution.us. I had read from it earlier. This is my effort to provide the alternative, because people say you only want to, they're never going to let you, and I'm trying to give the language that if I can spell out an alternative, and here's what it comes down to here. We learn of our corrupt government fooling us with false flag terrorism, like 9/11, obviously controlled demolition. And again, I'm saying Amy because if I could convince Amy, then that would be alone go viral in the social media.
She has a great influence.
And I love Amy Goodman. Her programs are wonderful, no doubt about it. And she's 6 months away from her partner, Juan Gonzalez. Their birthdays are 6 months apart.
Oh, you're going to get into your birthday thing. But let's try and talk to the people that could be part of changing things.
Okay, so here we go. We view as a whole people 9/11 documentaries. I want us to be totally clear. The one I point to is Massimo Mazzucco.
Talk.
He has I'll be playing his programs on my show. I will have played them up until this point. This coming, as we talk now, on Tuesday.
Yeah.
Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, I do play Massimo Mazzucco's 9/11 stuff.
Oh, it's 9/11. Okay, yeah.
Okay. But here come, and I do, here's the point, I guess. We awake as a whole people to the wrongs of our government throughout the world, reading together books like Killing Hope. Now, the book Killing Hope by William Bloom, spelled B-L-U-M, is a wonderful book, and I would describe it as very well documented.
Yeah.
And he lists country by country how we were a force against democracy.
Yeah. When you say we, are you talking about the United States, the Western world, the
United States?
United States.
You're
particularly focusing on the United States of
and
America.
I'm saying we, meaning our country.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough. Okay.
And it's a reality. So I'm saying we read the book out loud as a people, and it is heavy. That I don't think we haven't had any group readings that I'm aware of, but he wrote another book called Rogue State. And again, he's just pointing to the criminality of what the United States has been doing. The writer had been employed by the State Department and resigned in disgust. And another one who resigned in disgust, Ann Wright. And by gum, you were asking for more people for my
Yes, please.
She qualifies. And actually, I left out my major one.
Yeah.
The one who's 6 months from my birthday is Medea Benjamin.
Medea Benjamin, wonderful.
Is a genius. She is
She's
wonderful.
Just right on
and
the
her
money,
husband is wonderful too, Kevin Danaher.
Okay, good.
But I was saying
she
this.
Demonstrates,
for Amy Goodman to be on board.
Yeah. Well, isn't Amy Goodman on board for trying to build a better world or something?
Thanks for nothing, Harold.
No.
I'm saying that her program, Democracy Now!, she has a crew who could be the crew to make happen this discussion about discussing into being an alternative government.
But doesn't she do that? I mean, I'm sorry. It seems to me she does that.
That has not been the aim, Harold. The aim is to have a peaceful revolution. And I'll put it another way, Harold.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah, thanks for interrupting. The point is this. I bought for Amy Goodman a more truthful name. I bought her internet in .com, .net, and .us. You ready for a better name for her? Instead of Democracy Now!, I bought her Democracy ASAP.
Oh, as soon as possible.
And the point is, do we have democracy? No. And what is the game? Let's have democracy as soon as possible.
Well, that's...
So I did buy the names, and I was going to, I can use an opportunity now. It's kind of a joke.
No, I think it's a good thing.
Yeah.
Because I think as soon as possible is more responsible. Tell you the truth, because we're not got it.
But we're talking about, Harold, revolution by discussion.
Yeah.
And Amy is great at picking voices, making it happen.
Right.
And her crew.
One of the gang, yeah.
So, and she knows how to pick. So you're saying who else to pick? But at least I came up with Ann Wright and Medea Benjamin.
Yeah, well, you're right.
And whole Medea Benjamin's crew is there. I mean, she's got Code Pink. They're wonderful people.
Yeah, right.
So we got enough people to do the talking. And again, we're talking about democracy by discussion. So as far as picking who's going to lead the discussion, once you lead it, then they're like when Tom Hartman. That's one thing I like about Tom Hartman.
He's very steady. Yeah.
He lets his people talk.
Yeah, absolutely. And he also knows what he's saying when he talks about it. He's very well read. You like Noam Chomsky, don't you?
Oh, right.
Yeah?
Noam, we had mentioned off camera. We'd have on the... Well, I have a list already.
Yeah, I think it'd be worth spelling it out maybe for some of the people that are listening. Yeah,
and I had to apologize here and there for people I didn't include. But I do like Phyllis Bennis, we had mentioned.
I like Phyllis. She's in Washington, yeah. And she's good, yeah.
I was thinking of even making it international and inviting...
That might be more reasonable.
Like Tariq Ali.
Yeah, he's very good, yeah.
Different...
yeah.
So, as far as imagining the revolution playing out. So
Right,
I
yeah.
say let's do it, and I'm hoping that I'll get some press by the idea that there is some guy in Manhattan who says 9/11 is an inside job, and
But
therefore we
lots
should.
of people are in that. It seems to me, not nearly enough from your perspective. A lot of people have called that attention to the inconsistencies of the 9/11 truths. I mean, 9/11. Not that. Yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to.
It was like music, Harold. It was like I was leading up to a climax. and
Sorry,
you,
sorry.
All right, let's try it again together.
Yeah,
Harold.
go ahead, go ahead.
We're going to build into a movement.
All right.
That this truth ushers in a change.
Right.
What's the change? The first change is
Yeah.
that we actually aim
Yeah.
for replacing a government that is clearly corrupt, replace institutions that are clearly obsolete, that we rescue our culture that has gone bad. We are, in biblical terms, we are, what are some of the words they use for cultures
A
that go
blight
bad?
upon the earth.
Corrupt culture. I can't remember the names for corrupt cultures off the top. Degraded. We have become degraded as a people.
Well, okay, so yeah.
But in particular, when a
There's certainly
government
a lot of
lies to its
problems.
own people, it's
Yeah.
not serving the people.
Yeah.
So we have a government up that belly over here, guys. I want to
Bereft of
apologize.
vision.
Can you
Yeah.
frame out my belly, please? I mean,
He wants his belly not.
all right.
showing.
Yesterday I was in Times
You
Square
don't
and
wanna
I
look
was
like-
got out my cell phone. That
Yes.
there were these people walking around in which they were perfectly normal in every direction.
Normal people in Broadway.
Thanks for the interruption, Harold. You messed
sorry.
up my punchline.
No, sorry.
So these people, they were tall guys with their wives,
Yeah.
and from the back they looked totally normal. But sideways, they had a belly that went.
You noticed
And
that.
I was going to
Did
stop
you get
them.
it on tape?
Yeah,
Did you
I
get
did.
it on
I have
tape?
it on my cell phone.
Okay,
Right.
yeah. That's
But I
for the
wanted
Comedy
to. I was
Channel edition
imagining
to
how
the
we could have
Revolution.
a interview. Excuse me, ma'am, and your husband. I'm just curious how he got a belly. You go eat at restaurants a lot.
What do you eat to get such a pot?
Yeah.
Yes, right. Well, then.
And then I met others that
Ever
had about the
diplomatic
same
Joe.
shape. I couldn't believe it. I was
Yeah.
like, maybe they're all from the same somewhere or other. Meanwhile, back at Saving the Country.
No, we're
So the
trying to list
idea
the
is
people
that
that-
if on 9/11 we
Yeah.
got the public to change in numbers from a few to acknowledging for real that we don't blame anymore the Arabs and the Muslims for 9/11, that
That's
in
called
fact it was
scapegoating,
our
yeah.
government that did a false flag fooling the American people.
Mhm.
Cheney and Rumsfeld are the bad guys.
Well, you got a couple there that could be considered.
They
It's
are
called
major
realpolitik also, you
That
know.
Rumsfeld had the rules changed that before you could raise fighter aircraft to attack hijacked airliners, you had to get him to approve it on the telephone.
Yeah.
And he was away from the phone on
Yeah.
9/11.
Yeah,
I mean,
right,
hello.
right. Yeah.
So that's the
Yeah.
big lie. The dimensions of are so huge that if the American people can't wake up to such a big lie, then they deserve to be blown
It's
up. It's
hard
sort
to
of the
know
tragedy.
the wall large enough to put all the lies up that have been fed to us over the years and also over all of history. There's always been a few people in charge of everything, ruling over the people, I think, you know, and they still are.
So, what countries do you think you'd like to point to that we did horrible things?
Well,
like Nicaragua,
one in
El
particular, as
Salvador?
you know, well, they're legion. They're all over the place. But
Ecuador.
it's called realpolitik.
Well,
and the
that's a nice
politic-
name for it, but
it's all-
it's
yeah.
criminal.
No, but it's also
Our
based-
government has
well,
committed
yeah.
crimes, and
Yeah.
we are responsible
Every
citizens
government
for.
commits
No,
crime.
don't. Why distract that, Harold? Why the fuck do you say that?
Well, I
Every
think
go-
it's
well,
true.
it's horrible that we've done it.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
are you going to escape it because somebody else did bad too?
No, I'm just saying it's.
Why do you go there? I mean, the horrible point is that we have an obligation here with this TV show to get the process going so that we stop being so bad.
Well,
And don't distract from that. The point
in a
is,
certain sense, it's just
what
time.
certain sense?
We've never had justice. There's always been a few people who ruled over all the people en masse.
What
In the
argument is
Caesar's
that?
court or
So
the
therefore not change?
No.
What is change,
Well,
Harold? Change is that we see what happened so far and we use our brains to make a step forward.
Yeah,
You're saying
but
no,
what
surrender
kind
to
of
the
a
swamp?
change? Are we making a little political change or a
A
historical
little. We're
change?
making a huge change, just
Well,
like democracy was a huge change
how
from
big a
monarchy,
change
right,
are we
Harold?
making? How big a
Hey,
change?
Harold, remember we had a
That worked?
monarchy and then we
Well,
tried democracy, remember?
Well, I do remember
Well,
I've read a lot
went
of it.
bad.
We had
It went
1,000
bad.
years after Rome fell
Our
apart.
democracy
you
went
had
bad.
the dynastic states with the king in the castle and the peasants waddling around in the mud and being lied to by the king and by being served. And they have all the... it's always been like that.
Is that an excuse?
And it's always based
Are you
upon the
excusing
fact...
it, Harold?
No, well, not excusing it, trying to understand it.
No,
And
wait,
it-
how does that help understand it?
Well, the thing is, why would it be any different now, since it's always been a few people
Because with
running
the internet,
everything?
we can look at each other and catch when they're acting bad
Okay,
and
now
stop
you're
it.
talking about something that's changing.
Well, okay, so is that good enough to give me a little hope that
Well, I
we can
don't-
make a break with the horrible past and do it right?
Well, I think it's good to bring it up not only to the United States of America, which happens to be a superpower, but to the whole system we've inherited out of history. We've inherited a system out of history where it was not possible to have justice like we want to have, and which we might be able to have now.
No, you use the
That's
word
a different
inherit. What
proposition.
inherit means what? Inherit means we're bridged to the past?
No, it was just that we were limited to a situation of scarcity. There wasn't nearly enough for one to have something somebody else had to be deprived. There wasn't enough. We're now getting to a point where there can be enough for all, and that's something that is becoming obvious, and it's something that could be part of a plan by which we can have a liberation which has never been possible ever in the collective history of mankind. That's
So
all.
there- okay, you got it said there, brother. You got all them words out there. Let's give them a big hand. Hey, nobody's clapping. Come
No,
on.
who
what's
are
going on?
some of the people that are worth listening? I tell you, if I
You
got
want a list of who I want on my Revolutionary Steering Committee. I am not fascinated by naming names.
Oh.
There are indeed people who have criticized the establishment. There are maybe even some reformed, recovering. Oh, one person I do think of,
go on here.
Jennifer Rubin.
Tell me about Jennifer Rubin. I don't.
What
know
I
her,
liked
don't
about
think.
her is that she
Excuse me.
she graduated from Berkeley Law School, the very top of her class, and now she's a journalist who calls herself a recovering lawyer.
Wow, the law. It's got
And
a
the
lot to
idea
answer
is
for.
again that we
Yeah.
changed the game. That our whole legal system is a tragedy. The guy who I have Sunday breakfast with regularly is a lawyer, and he's always teasing me, Joe, what are the lawyers going to do?
Yeah, right.
And
right.
let's talk about that, Harold.
Oh, fine.
What
that's
I'm
all right.
talking
My
about,
daddy was a lawyer. Yeah.
thanks for that.
Mm-hmm.
The idea is, as a people, we wonder out loud what to do with the lawyers, and let's come up for suggestions.
I think
that,
Charles Dickens had some good
the idea
ideas
is
along
we're
that
going to
line.
have drastic rearrangements of
Yeah.
employment. That
Yeah.
we're talking about doing what's right for the planet,
Yeah.
and we're also talking about rescuing humanity from business games, from business as usual, so that
Yeah.
we have a kind of a blank slate, I like to say, in which we redesign society as a people. I'm saying revolution by discussion, where we wonder out loud how to get the work done.
Right.
And
Or why.
basically it involves communicating,
Yeah.
in which we have networks that people can trust, where we turn to them for, hello, what should we do next? And they say, here are our problems. Any volunteers? And you can volunteer and say, I'll do it. That is the replacement I'm proposing
Yeah.
for our free market capitalistic nightmare.
Well, the free market or the world and everything. Yeah, there are people that are worthy of being, like I have some heroes. Buckminster Fuller is generally recognized by the whole intelligent world and so forth. There's some people that are known and are it can be put out. And you have a list of people that you were saying would be worthy of being those on the committee
I have
that's going to
listed
form
I
the
have-
basis by which we can proceed. And I think it might be worth mentioning some
I
of those
struggled with lists. I have
I
them
know.
online, different lists. Some lists I had about 75. I think I got to 100 once. Just anti-establishment heroes who are good talkers, who think out loud. We're talking authors and political activists.
Yeah.
They're all over the place.
Yeah.
They're Florindo in Manhattan does things.
Go on.
Oh, one of my favorites is Sally Jones.
I don't know Sally Jones.
She's a New York State peace activist. She's driving around on her bicycle to different events, and she speaks well. What we're talking about is getting past celebrity and becoming a welcoming for a national discussion in which people come forward and talk, and the people who have good ideas, some of them just say a good idea, boing, that's it, and some people can talk good. But the idea is to cultivate are learning how to talk together.
Yeah, right.
And frankly, it is a little scary. I am a little scared, you know, like
Over
how
the
to
situation?
manage so many voices happening. One method I propose in managing it is when people plead for the national attention, instead of talking to everybody, they talk to some number, like 10,000 people, and those people decide whether to second the motion. That is this person a jerk, or is this person actually have useful information to share? That some people are motivated, I don't know if you're aware of this, by just some kind of urge to speak out with no good reason.
Yeah, well,
but other people, they actually have useful things to say.
Yeah.
And they can have a second in the motion, you know, where there some mechanism like
That's a procedure.
to develop the possibility of our thinking together as a people, as opposed to using representatives, which is the game we have now. Now you're saying name names, you're going back to representatives basically, and I'm saying there can be some leadership happening in which we pick. Although I think there's going to be a lot of unification. I mean, the language that I'm using, Harold, is very general.
Yeah.
It does try to embrace just general principles of let's act morally.
Yeah.
And I think, although actually that
Well,
just reminds me of another problem, the Antichrist. That
that's
that I do
strange.
I do have a rap about religion. I think at this point we should go the next step and just talk about unifying humanity and abandon the fairy stories about people in the past.
People needed those things over a long,
They did,
dreary
but I'm hoping we
history.
can replace that.
Yeah, well, I think it's called for and everything.
That all those religions about talking to some guy up in the sky, listening. It would be nice if there was somebody listening. But what we're talking
people
about,
have those things that are very important to them, and you know, you don't want to have them stripped of those things too cavalierly, it would seem to me. But you have to get some others. I mean, so there's some intellectuals. You like Ray Kurzweil?
I never did get excited about him. No.
Really? Oh, okay.
Binary economics?
No.
Who's
Ray
that?
Kurzweil is a leading cyberneticist, really.
Cyberneticist,
Yeah, he was the one who was reading the exponential increasing of cybernetics that is going on. And we're all coming into a digital world that's just changing everything.
But Harold, the idea is if
he helps us understand the implications of the digital revolutions going on.
If we have Democracy Now! Crew
Democracy
working
Now!
on how the discussion happens. The way discussions happen is you pick who talks next, and who talks next.
The procedure by which.
And who talks next has to do with what the last guy said, or the last woman said. So the idea is to be operating under principles in which the methods they're using for picking who to talk next are moral and rational.
Yeah, right. And also of the time. I mean, Tom Jefferson was great for 1776, but we need somebody who is a Thomas Jefferson of the moment and the future, with a view toward the future, which is dawning in systematic terms, that is just obviating many of the institutions we've been living by and heralding a new time. And we live at a time where we got weapons that have been the means by which realpolitik gave power to the guy in the castle and all that, have now become species lethal.
Well, let's
And
let's
we have
jump-
an
hold on,
ability
hold on.
to
Yeah,
have
you're giving
abundance for all that we've never had.
repeat, easy on the repeat
And those are a
mode.
couple
You're
things that
repeat
ought to
mode,
be,
repeat mode, repeat mode, repeat mode.
Well,
Hold off, Harold. Don't throw repeats out.
You don't think that's true?
Repeats are an
Let me
insult
ask you,
to
do
the
you think
listener.
the weapons are species
Repeats
lethal?
are
Why is that?
You say that on every one of your programs.
Well, it's
and right now we're
saying.
facing the reality that Trump is threatening nuclear war. So instead of those usual things that you repeat over and over again, Harold, let's
Yeah.
talk about what to do with Trump proposing nuclear war. The media are just saying, well, maybe he doesn't know where the button is. I mean, that's about it. That we don't have much basis for hope that he won't blow everything up. The public is totally unaware of all the stuff we've been talking about, that we have been the bad guys. We wrongfully partitioned Korea. We wrongfully reneged on our promise to hold elections for unification 5 years after the partitioning. We wrongfully bombed North Korea more than we bombed Japan, and we were interfering in a civil war for unification by flattening every city in North Korea. We are the bad guys. We are the bad guys. We are the bad guys. And that can't be repeated enough, but is it mentioned in Congress? No.
No, they're the winners.
I sent communication to different people. I'm waiting to see whether they'll respond. But I did say, wake up America to what the Korean War was all about. That is a truth.
Well,
that
don't
we
forget
need
the
now.
Vietnam War. The Vietnam War was a
You
horror.
Oh, let's hear about it, Harold.
Well, it was.
Let's
It
hear
was a horror. Well, you
Well, what
saw
was
it.
wrong
You were
with it?
there.
Who were the good guys? Who were the bad guys?
Well, the United States of America.
The bad
was
guys
not-
were the Dulles brothers who reneged again on a promise
It
of
happened to
unification.
be the United States of America.
The unification,
was off. Yeah,
we-
that was
they-
their
there was
fault. Yeah,
supposed
they
to
were
be a
at fault. And they had
we had agreed to a vote for unification, and then when the date came, we said no, we're calling it off because we'd lose.
Yeah. We're looking for vision, and where is it coming from? I think it's
We
gonna,
face who the
yeah.
bad guys are. We let truth. That's my faith, Harold. I have
Yeah.
faith.
Okay, yeah.
My faith is in
Yeah.
truth.
Well, truth is a many-splendored thing, I think. You know, it's a many,
What's
many
the
people,
splendor of it?
Well, actually, it says love is a many-splendored thing, which is another thing. But it's true. It's
What is- what
there are
is-
many different
Do you
truths.
feel
People have
truth
different
when
truths.
you've been lied to and you hear a truth happening? Does it hurt? What's it like?
Well, you just try to understand. My daddy was a fellow that was good. I liked him. He was a good guy and everything. And he used to say, what was it he said? I can't remember. He had a good saying, and I can't remember what it is because you were
What was it
interrupting
about?
me. But anyway,
It's my fault.
but I can't remember. Maybe it'll come to me. But
Interrupt any time it comes to you, Harold.
no, okay. Anyway, it's an unusual time in which we live. We're coming to a change that isn't like a political change or something like that, or like a historical change. We're coming to a change that's species. We're coming into a new relationship in the universe, and it's not like we're like leaving the womb after having been here for 200,000 years, and we're coming into a liaison with another way of being in the universe if we make it. But just as we have that, we also have the capability of the weapons, which have been the means by which political power has been exerted, and those who had the biggest gun could rule, and did, and it's been unjust the whole while for the mass of the people, and the weapons have now become species lethal.
Knock, knock.
No, but that's not something.
Knock,
I haven't
knock.
heard you say it.
Knock, knock.
That's a reality that
Knock,
ought to
knock.
be part of the grounding statement of what
Knock,
you're
knock.
talking about. All this. Do you think it's true?
Knock, knock.
If they're unleashed, is it the end of the species?
Knock,
is that
knock.
possible, or is that just baloney?
Knock, knock.
Okay.
When
the
I
other
say
side
knock,
of that.
knock, Harold, when I say knock, it's asking my chance to talk, but you wouldn't give it to me. You just kept talking.
Well, you're just interrupting. I asked you a question. Do you think that's true?
What I
That's
was-
something that
the
should be
reason I was
presented to the
knocking
people
for
of
it
the
is
world
what
and
you
know
said.
whether that is true,
The
as
reason-
spelled out in terms of how it would happen if the relation. And the fellow up in North Korea is beginning to tempt it now, and it could happen. Some accidental thing. It couldn't have happened any time until our lifetime. It never could have happened that we had weapons that were so consequential. They now are consequential in a new way. And on the positive side, we now can take care of everybody the way we've never been able to take care of everybody in the past ever, like what we have now and what's dawning. We're transcending scarcity and as a material reality. So that's a transformation. How do we get to that reality is something worthy of taking up. Who's going to be able to get us to that reality is what we ought to be talking about.
Harold, the words...
That's me talking now.
It sure is. Amen to that. Yeah, that's Harold talking.
And in
Harold,
that vein...
you have said those words.
There's a new name I'd like to put out to people. I only got it today from Kurzweil. Kurzweil, the leading guy understanding the cybernetics and everything.
Go for it.
And there's a new name that I would make available. The book's out today. And his name is Max, M-A-X-T-E-G-M-A-R-K. It's suggested that one and all intellectual or are interested should get in touch with him. It's called Life 3.0, Being Human in the Age of Artificial Intelligence. It's a book that we all ought to repair to. That's just a suggestion.
You did want to get that book name in
Well,
there.
I did. I only got
Harold,
it today.
did you notice,
that's right off the press,
have you
ladies
noticed,
and gentlemen.
Harold,
You're going to be well to get in touch with that.
Harold, have you noticed that in our conversations, this first show and what's beginning on this second one, I did get past that. I started out my talk by saying the choices before humanity are either nuclear devastation, as currently being proposed by our clown and prince Trump, or the You're not sure? What aren't you sure about?
No, I would say it might be being proposed more by a fellow that's the head of the North Korean state. He's lobbying, he's got a hydrogen bomb now.
Wait,
apparently.
Harold, you're saying that he's more wrong than Trump?
No, it's more likely to set it off. What you're worried about is what kind of silly thing could set it off. And that thing that is going with North Korea now, where he's lobbying a hydrogen bomb possibly. He's now got a thermonuclear hydrogen bomb, not just an atomic bomb on top of his missile.
How many do we have, Harold?
We've got enough to do.
More than 6,400?
It is ours that makes our weapon systems collectively lethal. The tridents, that's where it is. Our submarines, we have the power to be setting off a thing. We're the ones
collectively lethal would be bad, right?
Yes, it would mean the end of our species.
Do it?
It would be the end of our species.
So why would our country do stuff like that?
Because we
it's
would
so
not
evil.
have found a way to get the alternative, which is taking care of something that is now available that has never been available to us, that we have enough for all rather than zero sum. To have one to win, another has to lose. The whole model of scarcity is the history of the world.
Harold,
and we're transcending that.
Haven't you noticed today that I did propose a solution? You're pretending like I didn't
I didn't hear it. Yeah, I didn't hear what it is. What is it?
What it is that we use our minds.
Yes, good idea.
To use our language. To use our social media to aim at doing exactly that, to accomplishing an abundance for all.
Right, exactly right.
I'm proposing we start aiming, and we do it as directly as we can by talking into being new institutions peacefully, that we vote into being, that a democracy is about a public withdrawing its consent from one form and publicly attaching their consent to another system of government. That can be done peacefully, especially with social media. I'm proposing that we have a legal system that does perform what we'd hope when something is wrong. You go to a government official and they make it right.
Right, good. That's all good, yeah. And you know, one of the things
so wait, hold on, Harold.
MNN's part of the social media, you realize. Yeah? This is part of the social media.
Well, thanks for pointing that out. I did figure that one out.
Yeah.
But there will be people in the way that we do have to learn as a people how to think together, how to talk together.
Absolutely.
It's not something we've had much practice at.
Absolutely.
I can remember stories where Nicaragua was able to, at least for a while, defeat a evil government and begin running things cooperatively. And
Yeah.
they had never had any practice in talking out loud.
Was that
to
our
run
Benz?
things.
No, it was our Benz.
No. What the name of the bad guy or the good guy?
The bad guy.
The
I think
real
it was
question
our
is what
bad.
happened to the good guy.
Yeah, but anyway, that's a detail that can be looked up, and it's there. Yeah, it was terrible what happened in Guatemala
But I'm saying
under
we
a
have to-
ruthless dictator.
We're talking Nicaragua, but Guatemala too.
Both.
Yeah, come on. We
Yeah.
had a lot of
There's a lot of badness all over that we go into, not just the United States, although the United States has got a higher responsibility, but okay, anyway.
I don't know why you love to distract from our own wrong. That's one of your favorite mental exercises.
I didn't say that. I think they're wrong and they're dangerous because they've got the ability
We
to
have
blow
been
up the
rulers
world.
of the world, Harold, since World War II for sure.
But since World War
and,
II, yeah.
And as William Bloom
He's
points
very
out in
good. Yeah,
Killing
he's a
Hope,
dear friend of mine.
in country after country,
Yeah.
we did the opposite. We fooled the people. The people were fooled into thinking that there was legitimate activity going on when in fact we were undermining
I
democracy.
think the United States made an advance. You know, out of the Enlightenment and everything, we were probably in advance of with Thomas Jefferson was pretty damn good, and Benjamin Franklin at the time of the
Yeah, tell that
establishment
to
of
the
this
American
country on
Indians.
this planet,
What
on
about
this
the
continent.
what about the indigenous?
We were in advance historically of the human system out of feudalism that had reigned for 1,000 years after Rome.
If I hired you to be my indigenous
PR guy?
lawyer, what would you plead the case for the indigenous? They did get screwed, didn't they, Harold?
I've written a major book on the indigenous people.
And what's the summary, please? The executive summary?
It was a Holocaust. There have been a Holocaust after Holocaust after Holocaust,
says
and
it
it's
pretty
always
well.
who's ever
Okay.
got the biggest club could hit the other one on the head and take over. And that's called realpolitik, and then it becomes...
Now, I don't get it, Harold. When you cling to that expression, realpolitik, you're saying that that is an accepted feature
It's been
of political reality
No,
and
of the
therefore make your
leadership
peace with it?
No, of the leadership elements that have ruled.
But what are you
and
saying?
continue to rule. The idea is whoever's got the advantage or the power, rule. That's all.
And what if the people did it in their interest of doing
the-
good by the people
The
and the
people
planet?
are to be ruled. Actually, that's
Well,
the reality.
Why do you say that, Harold?
That's the battle of nations. It
How
isn't
about
about
the people
who's-
rule themselves? That's what democracy is, Harold.
Well, we tried. We made a step along those lines, and we were ahead of the Enlightenment,
And
the
then-
best of the
and then-
Enlightenment.
and then
And
it
I'll
went
tell you,
bad.
Muammar
It
Gaddafi
did
was
go
ahead
ba-
of history, and we did him in.
How about
Because
Saddam
we were
Hussein?
tied to outdated institutions about how you're going to form capital and set up a system.
How about Mossadegh?
Well, Mossadegh, I don't know. Yeah, Mossadegh in Peru, in Iran, it was a disgrace. He was really a good guy. We overthrew him. Yeah, right. But we overthrew him, and the thing that made it possible for us to be the leading nation is we had the biggest weapons.
So I'm proposing, Harold, that we
And
read
that's the
books
history of
like
the world.
that we wake up as a people to the evil of our foreign policy. Do you see that as making a change?
Yeah. Well, I don't use evil. It's just
You
a
wouldn't say evil?
situation. No,
You
it's
wouldn't
just
say criminal? Like what we did to Mossadegh wasn't criminal?
yes, it was.
We caused him
yes,
to
I
die
agree.
and
Yeah.
replace him
yeah.
with the Shah, who was a brutal, rotten nuke.
Couldn't agree more. I know very well the situation in Iran. Yeah, yes. History is a nightmare of injustice from which we're attempting to awaken. That's Mr. Joyce, and he
Oh,
was
really?
right.
What's that guy?
And that's
Who?
Jimmy Joyce. You know, as Allen Ginsberg used to say. Yeah, like that. No, we're living a time of qualitative transformation, not just political change. And so that's what
You
we
mean
have to do.
economic too?
Economics, yeah, you got to have
Don't you
economics.
notice I do
Yes,
sort
and
of embrace that
we're
too?
being confronted, as you well know. And this thing I just put you to is where robotics are coming now. The labor theory of value is being undercut. All the systems by which our political systems have been set up are being challenged fundamentally, and we ought to be coming up with some answers to deal with the future Wait a minute. He brought out the oh, you're going to do your beard. Okay, yeah. I'm sorry, I'll stop.
I wasn't going to spank you.
Oh, I thought you were. I took it as a sign, and I will shut up. Who are some of the people? I think, Ray Kurzweil is really important, understanding
You
cybernetics.
are definitely hung up on him, all right.
Well, no.
Well, when
he's
it comes
smart.
to understanding cybernetics, what
Yeah.
we're talking about is how to use social media to have complex discussions about creating a totally new reality in which we have this thing that's already developed, our current reality, and it is pretty bold of me to propose that we make such changes. It is scary that it could be, he messed it all up.
Well, it's very...
To have a thing that's kind of working and to scrap the whole thing and start from scratch, Joe, that ain't going to work. We can make that argument.
Well, no, it is that people are got their identities wrapped up in outdated institutions. And when they got their identity...
Let me make this point, Harold.
It's very dangerous.
Harold, you're just repeating yourself. Let me say something new. You have repeated a hell of a lot.
Have I? Okay.
The last 400 words you've repeated are stuff you've said every program.
398, not 400.
The prostitution rent.
No, go on. Yeah, no, it's... I'm through there. It's just a... the cybernetic question is really important, and it's going into robotics now. It's going to undercut the means by which people get an identity. Their jobs are going to be undercut. The means of distributing buying power to the masses of the world is being undercut by our technological success. And all these changes are coming, and we ought to be talking about the people who are helping to address them.
Now, as far as addressing change, let me now try to grab the attention again from our suffering viewers. Whew. What I'm proposing is that the American people successfully reason together. They talk out loud. They have their cybernetic experts accomplish using our World Wide Web to accomplish a successful discussion in which problems are addressed, what is wrong is focused upon, and the solution is discussed, created, developed, and finally, as a people, we say, we got it ready, let's have a vote. We're going to change from the current miserable, rotten, what you call it again, nightmare, to the good way.
You were doing great then until you got to consider rotten and everything. Absolutely. I couldn't agree with you more, right up to where you had to make it all ugly and everything.
Okay, good. All right, we don't want no ugly.
We want to get past the dialectic if we can. We want to involve everybody. You want to get everybody involved to the degree that it's possible to do. Well, some of the people who stand for the rotten corruption, that have to be overdone and everything. You're going to have to include the leadership for the political system that we've inherited. Then you're going to overcome them. I don't know if you're going to put them in prison or what. I don't know.
I have been around Marxists who wonder about.
Oh, Marx is another matter. Yeah.
Thanks for that, Harold.
Yeah.
I have. And they tend to say the rich won't let you do it without a fight.
Well, they haven't. They sure haven't. Yeah, that's why they had a revolution in Russia and all that. Yeah, and others want to do that and get rid of the bad guys. I think that, and that's the way it's been a dialectic, and it's just been like that ever since the cavemen. And now we're coming to the end of that. We're coming to the end of that. We're born into a time of qualitative, not quantitative change, qualitative change evolutionarily. And that's different than history.
Harold, I am the qualitative change. Haven't you noticed?
Okay, well, that may be. That may be. So lay it out.
I haven't been quantitative, have I? I've been qualitative?
Well, no, but by accepting or taking it on its own terms, the historical pattern or excessive blame, maybe even. Let's try and understand what's actually going on.
What's actually going on?
And something that could include people.
Here's what I say here.
Yeah, okay, do.
All three branches of our government, including the Supreme Court, a revolution replacing that we have in place not only those three branches, the media is another branch.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the media after the revolution. We're talking about new ownership, new obligations to be truthful. We're talking about, again, the Amy Goodman Democracy Now! Model in general, or the, you know who I do, RT and Tom Hartman? I like those people.
RT, they're still on Russian TV, right?
Oh yeah.
I got it. What channel is it in there?
In Spectrum Time Warner, it's 218.
218. Thanks for that. That's good to know. Yeah.
But they pick a lot of the same people I pick from YouTube to choose. They had Phyllis Bennis on.
Yeah,
recently.
I like Phyllis Bennis. Yeah.
They've had Amy on.
Amy's good. Yeah.
Another member of the revolution. I was just thinking.
Yeah.
How about Stephen Colbert?
He's funny. Yeah, he's really funny. I don't. He's really funny. And what's his name? Who's that other wise guy? Is so
Jimmy Fallon?
No, Bill Maher. Bill Maher.
Yeah.
He's a wise guy. Quick. He's been there.
Yeah, several of
Abby Hoffman I loved, and all those people. Yeah. Allen Ginsberg I liked. I liked Bobby Dylan. I liked Joan Baez. I liked all those people that made up the spirit of Woodstock. Richie Havens is a good, close, personal friend of mine. I loved them all. Love them all, love them all, the young and the short and the tall. Bless all the... never mind.
Oh, I feel like dancing.
Yeah, right. No, I mean, there's all that, and it's,
So what we're talking about, Harold, is we're making this show on the 5th of September, but the way the game is played, we hand it in for broadcast on MNN. I was aiming for September 11th. You're planning on playing this the 12th, and we have the other hour, maybe, but on YouTube it's already going to be up.
It's going to be up on YouTube by tonight.
So we're talking America wising up before 9/11.
The world, yes, but America particularly, particularly dangerous. United States without vision, very dangerous, very dangerous.
So the main message is 9/11 is a big lie.
Well, that's a thing that's probably true. History could be seen as in its democratic,
why'd you say
propagandistic leading of people around.
Why'd you say probably?
Well, it's an issue. It's one issue, but Mossadegh was a thing. Gaddafi was a mistake. All kinds of mistakes have been going on in trying to reify or reestablish the old order that people are holding on to.
I'll put it this way, Harold.
And it's understandable.
I'll put it this way, Harold!
Okay.
Was that your remarks necessary at that? When I just said I'll put it this way, you had to throw in a couple of unnecessary words.
Did I do that? I'm sorry. I'm known to do that. I've done that once or twice. This is about the third time in my life I put in some unnecessary words.
You know, I look at your
videos.
3 times. I look at your videos
many.
on YouTube, Harold, and in the comment section.
Yes.
Have you ever looked at the comments?
Oh, I daren't.
They say, why does he interrupt like he does?
Well, I'll tell you why, because I'm talking about something other than the normal way in which people see the good and bad, and we're good, they're bad, that traditional stuff that is so, we need something more than that kind of a normal discussion of things, the normal politics and so forth.
I say,
because
come let us reason together,
together,
Harold. Like I say one thing and then we grow from the next thing, as opposed to going sideways and repeating some other sideways train on the other side of the tracks. We're trying to build a train that's going forward.
Absolutely, that we agree upon. Do we agree that these are the most harrowing and difficult and challenging times ever in the history of this planet?
That 9/11 would be a good day to wake up to the reality, although we're doing it even before that, but as a people we announce 9/11 is a big lie. What could we imagine doing, since we're going to prepare on YouTube in advance? There's nothing scheduled in New York City for 9/11 except the usual.
I don't even know what the dates are and so forth. I can't get my mind.
We're talking Monday.
Monday next
Monday
is 11th?
Is 9/11, right. And that's what we're making.
That's going to be your program that's going to air on 9/11. With me, it's going to air on, let me get my calendar.
Yeah, right, Harold.
I don't even know when the hell 9/11 is. I mean,
when
he
just figured that out.
Is it
Mr.
September
Director
11th? That's next Monday. is
Right,
9/11.
So she keeps showing September 5th is when we're
It's also known as Fly the Flag Day, 9/11. Here, see, 9/11, Fly the Flag Day in the calendar, right? I didn't know that was 9. I hadn't even realized what the date was. 9/11 is in. I haven't paid that much attention.
I did kind of say that out loud while I was talking, but I
so
guess
that program that we did last, the hour you did, is going to air on 9/11 on my series. It's going to air next week. Is that okay? And this one will air on 9/12. I mean, on
maybe we can arrange for me to play them both on my. I'll give you my hour, and
you can take the tape and you can do anything you want with it.
No, I'm saying, well, maybe we can have it go 1-2, and I'll play the first one on my time and the second one on your time. And
I have no idea. Do you understand, anyone, what he just said? Do you understand? Can anybody get?
We can
get
permission.
I need a translating dictionary.
We get permission from the people who run things to say, can we please use Joe Friendly's shot? Joe Friendly's show. We'll play Harold's show. We'll have 2 Harold shows.
No, I don't think we're
because since they're playing Harold,
that sounds like something my daddy was to warn me about when I was about 10 years old. When people start talking that kind of talk, he warned me with exactitude not to take up that kind of language seriously. So I think we better do something else other than that. Your program is going to air on the 11th, and it's going to be.
We got a couple of days in advance of the deadline,
even paid any
so we
attention
can
to it.
say, can we please have Joe Friendly 1-2, because he's trying to be the Messiah. You know, maybe that's a reason to be.
Mashiach! Yes. The Mashiach's coming.
All right, let me practice it again now.
No, I don't want to be. I don't want to be cavalier. All those spiritual traditions are important, and the way people get a sense of identity.
You don't want to
you've got to be sensitive to the systems by which people get a sense of identity, and we all ought to be able to accept, one another, or be able to talk and all that.
Harold, I would concede that indeed picking on religion is politically dangerous.
It's a cheap shot, really, in a way. You ought to respect that. But then you've got the people.
I am here to say,
how about you're going to protect the Christians again from a Jewish perspective, Are you going to take into account the necessities of the people who planned 9/11 from the White House? Because they had to do it for some overriding instance they could never let know to anybody. Could you let the same spirit of acceptance apply to the people who were in the White House claiming the things that you say for 9/11? That there was what they're thinking? Can you do that? Can you put yourself in another person's perspective?
That from their point of view, there was good reason to fool the American people into a new Pearl Harbor.
Right.
What they say is...
So they could advance an economic order that they believed in. It was all about economics and political this and that, and they're all caught up in those kind of thinking and everything, and it was a larger issue that you couldn't understand because you didn't have the understanding that they had with all their secret things that they know and everything, and it's a terribly responsible position a president has that a normal citizen doesn't have. Yes.
My turn. Thanks.
We've only got 5 minutes left, so...
Once you go on a rap, Harold, it's hard to rein it in there. You're saying that the going game has been get all you can, lie all you can get away with, and that has been the prevailing game that we are going to replace.
Camouflage,
I don't excuse it. I don't say, well, since it's the going game, lying, cheating, murdering.
Yeah.
How many people has the U.S. killed since World War II in wrongful killings?
Many.
Many millions.
Many people have been
worse
killed.
Than Hitler did on Jews.
No.
I mean, we have killed millions.
Well, yeah, and the First World War was an absolute travesty.
How many did we kill in North Korea, Harold? How many did we kill in North Korea?
In North, you had a lot in South Korea, for that matter, and they had to.
It was several million.
Yes, I know. Yeah.
So
history is a nightmare from which we're attempting to awaken.
Well, let's
Joyce.
Attempt to awaken, Harold. Let's attempt to awaken, Harold. Let's attempt to awaken, Harold. Let's attempt. You're not attempting. You're saying, should we attempt? I'm attempting to do it right now. Harold,
Okay,
you hear?
good. Okay,
How do we
fair
awaken? We face the truth. What is the truth? That we have been bad guys. Why do we face the truth that we're bad guys? So we stop being the bad guys. That's the idea, Harold.
Well, everybody's
when you
been
see
bad.
it's bad, then you stop.
Yeah. Well, okay. Yeah, that's good. That's a good idea. That's a good idea. Yeah.
So we expose
Yeah.
the wrong
I can
so we can
understand that.
correct it.
yeah.
That's the hopeful, that's the waking up from the nightmare, is to point to it on social media with the language that we have a discussion into being of its replacement.
Yeah, right. That's the challenge in front of us. Absolutely.
So
Couldn't
let's
agree
start
more.
working on it. That's the idea, to announce on 9/11 that we wake up to the big lie and begin the peaceful revolution that we need.
It might be that's the kind of thing that they used to have a thing down on the farm. Did you ever live on a farm? You had to prime the pump. You had a pump, and you get it going. You had to pour water into it, and then you primed the pump. That would be like priming the pump,
Right,
getting
we
at
get
what
the
we have to do.
discussion
But then I'm
started.
trying to deal with what we have to do, which is a larger order and a larger consideration. That's all. But prime the pump with that, and recognize there are other people who've done bad things. It's not only us. Everybody's had a hand in doing things bad. Every government has done things bad or something, and the evil exists. It's been there and everything. But let's not just get all hung up on a masochistic thing about we're terrible. We are. People are. People have been. Their system has been. And it's a nightmare of injustice from which we're attempting to awaken. Can we agree on that? That we may be awakening to a new time that has never been in history. History's never been fair. The strong have overrun the weak. The swift run down and kill the laggards. I mean, it's not. Okay. That's all.
I'll tell you a little.
But now we're coming to a time of qualitative change for the first time. It isn't a political change. It's far more than a political change. It's a qualitative change. We're coming maybe to the end of time in the way we've been thinking.
On September.
Wait a minute, we only got a minute and a half left. Get it, Sid, quick. Minute and a half.
I have tried.
Joe Friendly.
I have tried to talk with Harold Channer today.
Lay it out, man.
I have tried to present the beginnings so that as a public we can wake up and start the process going of creating a peaceful revolution.
Look at you. You're gorgeous. You're absolutely gorgeous. Don't cut one hair off that beard. Look at that image, everybody. That's goodness personified. Lay it out, brother. Lay it out. You got a minute left.
Thanks for the interruption, Harold.
God, he's beautiful.
There is the tradition,
Beautiful.
or I'll put it this way. Confucius says that when a society has outgrown its social forms, it can achieve an efficient transition to appropriate social forms through the agency of one extraordinary individual who first manages to gather the people. I call that political power.
Yes, right.
By demonstrating the value of accurately measuring the seasons.
Very
and that's
good.
the kicker. That's birthday, accurately measuring the
That's
season.
right. He's got
I'm the
that,
guy, and therefore I'm the guy to bring about peaceful revolution.
It's the man. Thank you for bringing all that wisdom
Thanks
to
for
us and everything
listening,
like that. My pleasure, my brother. My pleasure. Your pleasure having the word from on high,
really
Joseph
can listen,
Friendly.
okay.
Do tune in again tomorrow. We'll be coming back. And remember, 10 o'clock, 34, channel 34, Joe Friendly's Truth for a Change, one of the major television things in all of the world. Thank you, Joseph, for coming in with your wit and wisdom. See you tomorrow. Thank you for viewing.